Now that that's done, let's get back to the face. I'll save the file as an incremental version, and let's add some loop edges to the head. Once you're in loop edge um, mode, you can use your scroll wheel to add the amount of edges that you want to add. And of course, the loop edge tool is started with a Control R. Now, I wanted the amount of edges that will result in the polygons on the side of the head to be rectangular, the same way the pixels are mm, on the reference character. So let's select first these top polygons because we definitely need them. And the back, we know the hair goes all the way down. In here, I'm just improvising. Let's select some polygons, some not, so that it goes from lower point to the higher point. You can go random here as long as it looks fine. So good. Yep, a little bit behind, and let's try extruding that the same way we extrude all the other stuff. As you can see, this is not working really well, and this is one of those things that I told you about that beveling could cause some problems. Not removing this part where I'm fighting these problems um, from the edit, because problem solving and dealing with problems like that is most of the time at least 30% of 3D artists' work. So I'm trying to understand why that's caused. At first, it seems like the selection was not enough, but that's not it. The extrusion still works in a very, very weird way. So that gives, yeah, now that I'm moving it, I can see that there are some vertices that are still staying in place. Yeah. So during these extrusions or the chamfering at the stage of beveling, something caused some duplicates in the geometry. That's never good. If you have an edge or vertices that are in the same place and doing the same job, that always that always results in some problems. So what we can do now is switch to vertices and apply remove duplicates operation on it. Yes. And as you can see in the top message, I can see that there's a lot of vertices were removed. And maybe let's try it again. And here, as you can see, problem solved. I can say I really liked how the hair looked before, so I press undo and I'm modifying the selection a little bit. So it's just giving the character a little bit better appeal and more detail, if you can say so, for a character that is basically based on 8-bit stylistics. But here you go, we've extruded. We just need a little bit of extrusion. So it gives this tiny little shadows and defines the shapes better, so we don't rely on color only. I'm thinking let's add an eyelid, because later on when we're gonna be doing the animations on that, I want him to blink. So the same way we added the pseudo pupils on the character, I want to add eyelids, just a plain that is gonna cover, that is gonna go over the pupils on this character. Let's scale it down. Maybe move it a little bit forward so we know that it hides the pupil, which it now does. And now let's just hide it up there in the geometry. Oh, and actually, yeah, it's a bit too big. We don't need it to be that big. So let's just scale it by x-axis a little bit. And now we can move it up. And later on, when we're going to be doing animations, we'll learn how we can move that geometry in time, so we can create the blinking feeling to the character. Usually, on another kind of character, we would need more definition around the mouth, because mouth is one of the most modified, deformed areas on face. But for this character, I'm deciding not to do anything about the mouth, because it being so rectangular, and the way will be texturing it later, the deformations are gonna mess up our whole texture and whole style. So, but if you would do, that's how you would do it. You would add another loop of edges around the mouth. So I'm thinking, let's give this guy a nose, a little definition of nose, where the nose is supposed to be. So let's select these edges and apply insert faces tool on them. And now we don't want this face to be connected to the edge like that, where you can see like it goes diagonally in the right top and left and right top and right bottom corners. So I'm just gonna draw a new connection, like in the straight line here for from these vertices, and now we're just gonna mer merge these two vertices, hopefully. So I created this edge so we can merge these two vertices more easily. Mm, so let's select this one vertex. And the other one. And Alt M calls for the merge menu, and we need at last. We need to choose at last, so it jumps. The first vertex jumps to the last one's position, and they join. And now we can just move this area out just a little bit, so we get a small deformation, in the same way we're doing with some other details. And mm, maybe just move the vertices and shapes a little bit, so we get the light definition of a nose-like shape. I mean, this is very stylized character, so we cannot do a real shape, of course, but a real nose-like shape. But something close to it maybe could be not such a bad idea. As you can see, it's that right now it looks very very edgy, and that's due to the smoothing properties of the polygons. Sometimes it's good to apply subdivision modifier on your geometry, because it can show some issues that are not visible on low poly, like the ones we saw, that's like small circles in this area. That's an obvious sign that we have something bad happening there. In this case, there was some mistake during extrusion. So maybe let's try to fix it with the remove duplicates, and now as you can see it's all fixed. There are no weird circles on the side of the head anymore. I'm thinking let's add also some definition of the shirt collar to that character, the same way we did with all this stuff. So adding this edge loop here, and some vertical ones so we can get the shape that we want, like that. And let's select those edges, those faces, I'm sorry. Those faces, and just extrude them inside. Mm-hmm. And as with all the extrusions that are happening on the symmetry plane, we need to delete these extra polygons. And that's it. We got it. I don't think there are a lot of stuff that we need to add more on the geometry level. The rest is going to be happening on the texture level.